Greetings, mortals. I am Nates, and after what feels almost 1 year, I'm finally making another video. There is no real particular reason why I was off YouTube, just kinda, life happens, then you just forget what you're doing, and yeah, I think everyone understands what I mean. And yeah, in this video, we'll be doing a little, I guess, collectible haul, I guess you could call it. Since this week I've been going in more stores and buying a lot of different products. So I figured why not make a video about it. And yeah. I guess before we get into the collectibles, this bag here that you see is from TCG Park, which is the anime store. Almost basically it's an animal, but anime store that sells the most amount of these products. Which is a bit weird because the artist that made this, the art for this bag, I'm not certain who it is. I think this over here is his signature. But in this bag, he also had Superman, Batman, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Captain America, and Deadpool. So, kinda adds a few DC comics, DC and Marvel comics characters. Oh, and Yoda and Harry Potter. But, weirdly enough, I don't think they have anything to do with Yoda or Star Wars, I guess I should say. And I also don't think they have anything to do with Marvel and DC. So why it's here? I guess maybe it's because it's online, which I do believe there is products, but even there it's like, I don't think it's that many. But who knows, maybe it's a location thing. I mean, I know for a fact that there's products in stores that are not being sold online, but enough of the tangent. Let's get into the products I bought, and we'll start with the first Pokemon product, and that is this Umbreon plushie. I bought this plushie mostly because Spinel from Pokemon Horizon's Ace Pokemon was Umbreon before he proved to be a giant, an awful person. And then the Umbreon left him, and I figured, hey, technically he is the ace Pokemon of the main villain for, I want to say, the first half of Horizons, or will it be the second half? Like, I don't know, it's a bit weird because Spinel is a major villain in the first arc of the first, major arc of Horizons, pre-time skip. So but he's not the main final boss in that pre-time skip of Horizons. But he's still important. So it's like he's the main villain, but Gideon is the final boss. You could kind of argue. I don't know, things like when it comes to multiple villains that could be argued to be the main final bosses, it's very confusing. But yeah, anyways, after we have Umbreon, let's put him to the side. We then have probably the nicest character in this haul, and that is Nico Robin and her eye outfit. Now, some might debate if Nico Robin should really be considered a villain because she's been a Straw Hat for what is it now, like over 20 years at this point, and a protagonist and all that. But technically, she was the villain for the entirety of the Alabaster Saga, I believe it's how it's called, from Mountain, well, technically from Whiskey Peak, but you could also count Reverse Mountain to the end of Alabaster, so I feel like she counts. And then there's also the fact you could probably argue that she didn't really feel like a part of the Strawheads until Annie's Lobby, and was kind of just a neutral part that was helping them, but regardless, I think she counts for the villain and collectibles. And again, I included Umbreon, despite Umbreon just being a loyal Pokemon, so I feel like I could also include Nico Robin's time as Miss All Sunday. Which I do have to wonder if how many figures there are of Miss All Sunday of Nico Robin, because I feel like that's like one of those iconic outfits for Robin, but I don't really know how many, but I don't think I've ever seen like a figure of her, except maybe a Funko Pop and the Lego minifigures. Which, oh my god, if I buy that ship, it's gonna cost over 100. But anyways, we'll be coming to that way. We're coming to that. But anyways, yeah, Nico Robin's outfit. And I do have to wonder, when it comes to the designs that Oda does for Robin and Nami right now in the series, does he choose them based off of practicality or figures? Because I feel like this outfit was designed specifically to be a figure, you know? Anyways, after Robin, we then have, let's see here. Give me a minute. We then have Reed Astro Funko Pop. As you know me, I love My Academia, and this is a figure of one of my favorite, well, not one of my favorite villains in My Academia, but one of my favorite villain organizations in all media. So I should definitely have gotten him, and I do like the fact that they picked chose to make the Funko of his scene when he attacks twice in the My Villain Academia arc. So yeah, I do like it. And also, this is the real future of my collecting for these franchises, because as you can imagine, these things get all expensive. Just look at the price tag for Nico Robin, if you see. And while I will probably buy things that are from different series, I'll try to keep my collection for my favorite villain organizations in media. If you cannot guess which ones, you'll probably be able to guess it doing my. I was planning on making a manga collection video, but I think I'm just gonna do a general room tour this year instead of a manga collection tour. So you'll be able to figure out very quickly once we get to there. Now, anyways, on to the next product. Right. The next product that we'll be doing are TMNT Toka and Raza figures from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 second movie, live action movie. Which is kind of funny because these figures have Nickelodeon on top of it, because, well, I believe TMNT is owned by Nickelodeon now, and it, well, still is owned, I should say. So it does make kind of sense, but it's kind of funny because these two do not appear in any of the TMNT Nickelodeon shows. At least I don't think so. I mean, right now, the 2012, they do appear, but the two of them, one is a completely different character who just ends up being a weird, I guess, wolf skeleton, and then dies, while the other one is just the name of a space turtle. I think they just chose it because there technically is a already named an already named turtle, which is Toka. So it's kind of a weird, so those two have nothing really to do with each other. And then with, I don't think that these two were in the reboot or whatever it's called, and maybe that latest movie they're doing that might appear, since I think they just have a bunch of random mutants there, but I'm not entirely certain. I think we were Rocksteady were there, but I'm not certain about stuff. But regardless, it's kind of funny to have these two. Also, funny thing is, the store that I bought these two from, Toka was a figure that was constantly there, like, I believe for an entire year. Every time I went there to look at the Funko Pop collection, they always had Toka, but never Raza. But then when I decided, okay, I'll finally buy Toka, they had both. So it's kind of funny how I managed to get these two both at the same time. Which I'm very happy about, because it would be really annoying not to have these two, since they're a kind of pair. Well, I say I kind of pair, but I don't think Toka and Raza get used that much, are they? Despite being from movies. Which does, again, now kind of raise this question about adaptations and the evolution of adaptations in media. Because if that movie came out this year, I feel like these two would be a far more prominent as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villains as they are. Because if you look at MCU and DC, they clearly are pushing those characters up in movies. Look at Peacemaker. The guy went from, I don't even think was referenced or cameoed anything, but then James Gunn had him appear in the Suicide Squad movie, and boom, have a reference to him in Young Justice. Boom, have him be Amanda Waller's army. Boom, Have him be Racial Ghul's army, me and now Tala Ghul, I think's army in the Absolute Universe. Boom! Have him be in the Suicide Squad Isekai. So yeah, I definitely feel like these two would be far more prominent villains in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if the movie came out today. But they're not, so now we just have this classic look for these two. So yeah. Now we have some Pokemon cards, because again we cannot have a collectible video without at least some without at least some cards in, and this time we have Boss's Orders, Lysander, and Team Rocket's Murkrow, I think he said. It's how he said, which is a Japanese card, but I like it. I think it works very well. I don't know, just something about the Japanese style on these full arts, or I think it's a special illustration card actually, just works really well. So yeah. Also another hint for the armies I'm focusing on, if you cannot tell. Which one of these two is the army from Pokemon that I like the most? A real tough question. Also, why does Ariana look like she wants to kiss, let's just say, her Murkrow? Like, I don't know, there's something about this stare that makes me wonder what the hell Ariana is doing. Really makes you wonder things. And of course, if we're gonna be going to a store that sells anime stuff, we must definitely always check out their mangas. And this time I bought from them Ragnar Crimson Volume 9, where the... Oh, I know this is technically the Sentence of Time or Healing, or... Actually, I'm forgetting what they're actually called. Because I believe they have a different name, and Ultimatia was the one who chose her own name, or was it someone... Or the Volta Conway... Someone else chose her name, but yeah, I picked her because I really like this volume, how kind of creepy it looks with all those copies of her, which again makes it kind of quite... I know that they all look the same and all because of the soul Saintess of Time copies to be able to come to the future, but it's kind of weird when you think about it. They made Time Saintess copies for an army of them. Especially since other people that have those powers are not being copied as an army. I am blanking if it's stated why if there's a reason why only she is copied thousands of times, but it is kind of funny when you think we are introducing the cloning technology for this character who has a whole army of herself. The other ones who get cloned so they're always able to participate, we can do it just one. And then after Ragnar Crimson, we have One Piece volume 70 and 67. Again, I'm not going in order when it comes to my manga buying, as I think you probably all know this at this point, but I figured I should probably buy these two because these two are on cover for villains, and I figured it would make sense with the rest of the stash. It would be kind of weird if I had a volume cover that just had the Straw Hats doing stuff, you know? I mean, yeah, Robin is here, but again, Miss All Sunday, villain. So I just picked these two because I think it makes the most sense to continue the villain streak. And now, I hope you're all prepared for my favorite piece to my collection. Now I got this. And probably my crown jewel in the collection right now, and that is Lego Lord of the Rings Sauron's helmet set. I love this. I just love this. Like, Sauron is one of those most iconic movie villains ever, despite barely appearing it, and quite frankly, you could probably debate if you can count him in a couple of those movies, since, you know, he's present, but he's not really present. And I just had to get it. Like, it was a lot cheaper than I thought it was gonna be, because when I think of like adult 18 plus Sauron set, I imagine it's gonna be something like over 100, but it was relatively cheaper, which is something I've noticed in these marks when they just include the figure parts of the figure where they're not all that expensive. Like, Darth Vader was also not all that expensive, and Doctor Doom's also not that expensive. I'm not saying I'm going to start buying these mark sets for these characters, since very few of them I feel like are really justifies is because, like, again, Darth Vader is a character who you can get the minifigure. Darth Vader is not a character who's that difficult to get the minifigure from, even if it's extremely high quality. So it's having a mock figurine necessary. Doctor Doom is a character who's gonna appear in a bunch of sets this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna be another Thanos situation where he's going to appear in a bunch of sets even after Doom's Secret Wars and Doomsday comes out, you know. So Venom, but Sauron, I think I am justified in buying this set because, you know, generally speaking, Lord of the Rings sets modern are not that cheap. I'm not cheap. And here you get just Sauron's figure and nothing else, and the helmet. So I think I was justified in buying this one. The rest I'll see about it, but I think this one was definitely. I think this. You know how people say, "Oh, there's just one mark or one statue for these characters." It would be this one, or Darth Vader, or any of the other these statues, helmets, figures for these. I would definitely say that would be Sauron, and I'm happy that I got this one. Like, I spent a whole weekend anticipating this reveal that I finally got. Well, I got Sauron. I mean, it's weird to say we finally got Sauron because Sauron has never appeared beforehand. Before this revive of the Lord of the Rings sets, but I'm just happy I got it, and I really, I just loved it. I'm so happy that I got it, and Sauron just looks so cool, especially since they add red eye. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, I think you can kind of see it. Yeah, they add red eyes to them, which I just love. We got it. I'm so happy we got Sauron. I got Sauron's icons set. It's just. It's so amazing. So yeah, this is everything that I bought this week. It's not too many products, but I think what I got speaks. What I got I think expands my collection really well, and I really do like everything in this. And I do not regret buying any of these. I remember you could say some things would probably been bought later, but I think for right now, everything here was a well worth edition. But anyways, I want to know what you guys bought that you've been collecting recently, and generally which one of these items was your favorite, and which one would you want to buy if you could, or if you could find, or whatever, or order. And yeah. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. I hope you leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future, and that's it. I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.